for that lovely introduction, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The President asked me how much time I want to speak. And I told him, you know, we Indians are known for many things, and there are lots of things very nice about us. But brevity in speeches is not one of our fortes. Like one of our eminent politicians said, 20 minutes? I need that much time to clear my throat. How do you think I can finish a speech in 20 minutes? But I shall not let me say, take advantage of your hospitality and your friendship and try and keep what I want to say as brief and as succinct as possible. But before that, let me begin by saying how happy I am to be here in your midst. Dr. Chadha spoke about my former job, which was with the President of India, where I had opportunity to meet many dignitaries, be part of many high-level meetings, summits. But let me say that when I come to a Rotary gathering, it is a special joy that overwhelms me because I'm a child of the Rotary movement. My parents were active Rotarians. My father was president of the Rotary in the city I was born in. My mother was the district governor of Innerville. My brother. I'm so happy to see the young Rotractors there here. My brother met his wife in the Rotract. We are still happily married. And my sister, much after my parents stopped all their Rotary activities, applied for and got a Rotary fellowship, which sent her traveling all around the US, visiting different Rotarian families, meeting clubs such as this. And in India, I have addressed many gatherings of the Rotary. So truly, coming here is like coming home. It's like meeting members of the family. And it brings me back 1,000 memories of Rotary meetings, Rotary gatherings, and various associated activities which I was part of as a child. But today my topic is India, and to talk about India in a brief time, as many of you would know, is not an easy task. Those of you who have traveled to India know it even better. And I'm truly delighted that you are supporting a project in Rajasthan for which one of you or some of you are going to travel soon. You're going to travel soon. Wonderful. Welcome back to India. Let me begin with a small quote on India by the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, who not only was a very eminent, far-sighted political leader, but was also one of the best writers in English language. And much of his writing was written when he was in British jails. He has written a book called The Discovery of India, which is still a standard textbook, one of the best books you can ever find on India. And in that, he writes about India. India is a geographical and economic entity, a cultural unity amidst diversity, a bundle of contradictions held together by strong, invisible threads. About her, there is the elusive quality of a legend of long ago. Some enchantment seems to have held her mind. She's a myth and an idea, a dream and a vision, and yet very real and present and pervasive. That, ladies and gentlemen, is India in the words of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. If there is one defining characteristic for India, it is diversity. There is diversity in geography, diversity in languages, diversity in religions, diversity in culture, in food, in dress habit, you name it. It would be difficult to find any other part of the world where so much variety is thrown into one pot. India's biggest success in our 71 odd years of independence is that we have forged a strong and a united nation out of this extraordinary diversity. India was born in 1947 when we became independent, desperately poor, and in the midst of a partition between India and Pakistan, where millions died in madness, in communal carnage, Hindus versus Muslims. Over 6 million people migrated from what was Pakistan to India at the time, which is the biggest, one of the biggest recorded refugee flows anywhere in the world. In Europe today, refugees are a big issue. 6 million India had at the time of partition, and in 1971, when Bangladesh was born, another 7 million came to India. The colonial power, the British, I don't know if there are Brits here, we don't hold anything against you now, but at the time they did not make our job any easier. The British decided that areas within India directly ruled would be divided on the basis of religion, whether you like it or not. Muslims go that way, Hindus go this way. And 562 princely states, which were ruled by Maharajas, rulers under the suzerainty of the great British power, were given independence virtually. They were told, you have a choice. Choose India, choose Pakistan, be independent, do what you want. So you could imagine the challenge that confronted India's nation builders at the time of independence. But systematically, one by one, the bulk of India today was brought together through persuasion, through argument, through cajoling, and a united India was created. Today, India has a population of 1.3 billion. We are the second largest in the world, and we soon are poised to overtake China. Not a great honor, but a reality we have to live with and we have to manage. If diversity, let me define it in terms of Ds, the first D is India's most important characteristic, and if forging a strong nation is our biggest achievement, the second most important achievement is the proud fact that we are the largest democracy in the world. Our democracy today stands strong and tall, a beacon to many others in the world. The institutions which we have created within our democracy, whether it be an independent judiciary, an autonomous election commission, a free press, a vibrant civil society, these are the pillars on which our democracy exists. Governments have changed many times in India through our parliamentary elections, but not a single time has any political party questioned the verdict of the election commission on who has won. And friends, today in the last general elections held in 2014, 4 years back, next year we are due to go for another round of elections, the size of Indian electorate was a staggering 840 million people. And out of this 840 million people, 551 million people voted using electronic voting machines in the most modern way possible. Friends, we are a proud democracy. We are an extraordinarily diverse country. Equally, we are a very young nation. Over 60% of our population is under the age of 35. And youth means energy. Youth means ambition. Youth means aspiration. Youth means ideas, innovation. There is a fourth D, which we say today defines India, over and above diversity, democracy, demography, and that is demand. India is one of the largest markets you can find anywhere in the world. And as the Indian economy grows, this market grows, the middle class grow, more and more people rise out of poverty, and they create a virtuous cycle of positive economic growth. Today, the IMF and the World Bank estimate that India is growing at around 7.4% a year, and it is poised to maintain this growth for the next 3 years. This fact should be seen in context of the history that in 1947, when we were born, we didn't have enough food to eat. It was told that India was a ship-to-mouth economy on those days. We used to get aid from rich countries of the world, the US, many countries of Europe, which food grains used to be brought by ships to India, and only when the ships reached our ports was there food to eat in 1947. From that situation today, India is one of the largest producers of wheat and rice in the world, and not only do we produce enough for ourselves, we export it. We also are one of the largest producers of vegetables, of fruits, of sugarcane, of oil seeds, of milk, pulses, spices, tea, and cashew, you name it. We are a huge agricultural country. In 1947, India had no industry worth its name. We did not even have the technology to manufacture a blade, which you used to shave your faces for the men. But today, we are one of the top 10 manufacturing nations of the world. Our annual per capita income since independence has risen 27 times, and poverty levels have declined from 60% to less than 25%. Life expectancy has doubled. Literacy has gone up from 18% at the time of independence to 74% today. And friends, we are very proud of our success in the field of information technology. All of you would know about Bangalore being the second Silicon Valley after California. And we are equally proud of our space program, which with one rocket put 104 satellites in space, creating a world record. And not only have we reached the moon, we have reached the Mars, and right now our space organization is working on a second moon expedition in which it hopes to land a rover on the moon. And what is important about India is we are today known across the world for what is known as frugal innovation. We sent this rocket to the Mars at a cost less than what was spent on producing the movie Gravity by Hollywood. Friends, you are Rotarians, and lest you think India's success is only in the field of economy or technology, let me tell you, we have the largest midday meal scheme for students, serving over 10 million children in 1 million schools. The Rotary International is very active in India, helping us administer the polio vaccines to children across the country, one of the most successful programs considering the size of the population that has to be reached anywhere in the world. And it is not just economics. India's culture and traditional knowledge, like yoga, Dr. Chadha mentioned, Indian food, music, dance, and cinema find increasing popularity across the world. Here in the Netherlands alone, at the last count, there were over 160 yoga schools and 100 Indian restaurants. Every year, India produces more movies than all of Hollywood put together, and in more languages than you can imagine. Every language in India has its own film industry. Today, as we stand in 2018, the people of India are awakening to a new dawn. They are proud of their achievements and optimistic about the future. They do not underestimate the challenges either within the country or abroad. We know we still have a long way to go. All that we have done is still only the beginning, and we live in very troubled times, whether it is in the world, and we within India have our share of problems too. But we are happy and we are convinced that the path we have chosen, whether it be of democracy, whether it be of pluralism, inclusion and tolerance, whether it be of encouraging the young, whether it be of permitting free enterprise with a compassionate heart for the underprivileged, with supplementary efforts to reach the poorest of the poor, the unreached millions. This is the right path. We are convinced of this, and we are determined to continue to move on this path. Today, the people of India march with confidence in the future and hope in their hearts for a better tomorrow. Some of you have been to India. Some of you are going soon. Let me tell you, and I think you have Dr. Chadda and Mrs. Chadda, Dr. Chadda and Mrs. Chadda, Mr. Badri Madan and Mrs. Madan. We have a young person from India. Indians are a people of extraordinary warmth, friendship, and hospitality. People who have visited India say, you can go to many other countries, you can have business deals, make a lot of money, come back very happy. But if you go to India and spend time, get to know the Indians, you come back forming permanent relationships. You come back becoming members of their family, and they becoming members of your family. The Rotary movement in India is old, strong, and spread across the country. I know some of you are visiting. Please, all of you, try and visit India. That is what I would like to appeal to you and to encourage you. I believe the Rotarians in India number over 115,000. And the last such gathering which I addressed there, they were very proud, and they said, we have had 4 Rotary International presidents, and only the US raises more money for charitable causes than India does today. So there's a lot of good work happening across India in various Rotary clubs. And please remember, every state you go to is a different culture altogether. It is like traversing the length and breadth of the European continent. Let me, since we are all located in the Netherlands, conclude with a few words on India and the Netherlands. India-Netherlands ties are doing extremely well, whether it be in terms of high-level political contacts, economic and commercial relations, or people-to-people relations. We had Prime Minister Modi visit the Netherlands last year. Foreign Minister Bert Koenders from Netherlands went to India. We soon, it has been announced that Prime Minister Rutte will travel with 4 of his ministers to India by end of May, and he will take a major trade mission of over 100 businessmen with him, including all the leading Dutch companies. In the Netherlands, India has around 200 companies, while the Dutch have around 200 companies in India. So it is not a one-way street. Philips, Unilever, and Shell are amongst the oldest companies in India, but today business is a two-way street. And we are being actively wooed by the Dutch government to come to Netherlands, to establish a base in Netherlands. Indian business, as they grow big, are becoming more and more global and spreading across the world. So Netherlands is seen as a hub and a gateway into Europe. I'm aware of Rotary's commitments to charity and to global causes. Dr. Chadda already preempted me by mentioning the International Yoga Day celebrations, which we plan to organize on 17th of June on the Museum Plain in Amsterdam. For the International Yoga Day was a resolution moved by India in the UN and adopted by the UN with a record co-sponsorship. And basically through yoga, what we try to promote is wellness, is well-being, is the fact that we all lead such busy lives that sometimes we don't have enough time to just sit back and think, to look within yourself, and that health is what is the backbone of any society. If you want economic activity, if you want prosperity, if you want social harmony, for everything you need health. And activities like yoga, activities like meditation, not just promote health, but also harmony amongst people. So please come and join us on June 7th. There's going to be yoga, there's going to be meditation, there's going to be a leading spiritual guru from India, there's going to be lots of vegetarian food, non-alcoholic beverages, a lot of music, a lot of dance. Some of the most eminent musicians from India are flying down to perform that evening. So 11 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock, you have lots of activities which are going to happen there. Come join us. But let me also mention one major and novel activity which we initiated last year. And this was to mark the birth anniversary of the father of the Indian nation, Mahatma Gandhi, which is on October 2nd, and which has been declared by the UN as the International Day of Non-Violence. Last year, in The Hague, we said Hague prides itself on being the city of peace and justice. So we brought together people for a march which began from the forecourt of the Peace Palace and went all the way up to the Grote Kerk in the city of The Hague. And we launched what we called a Follow the Mahatma campaign. A campaign to spread the message that there is no answer but non-violence to solve the problems that we face, whether it be in our personal lives, whether it be in our domestic situation, whether it be with our neighbors, whether it be within our communities, whether it be within countries, whether it be between religions, whether it be between races. Non-violence is the only mantra. And this message we wanted to declare loud and clear. Over 1,000 people joined this march, and we followed it up with a campaign inviting volunteers to go to the schools of Netherlands to speak about non-violence with the youth of this country. And we had a social media campaign to back it up, saying, follow the Mahatma, spread the word of non-violence. We will do this once again this year, 2018, September 30th, there will be a peace march. We will have a social media campaign. We invite volunteers to go to schools. I welcome all of you to come and join us. Friends, let me conclude saying that India is a country which has always been open to the world, and we have always welcomed foreigners into our midst. India's struggle for freedom was not a struggle just to liberate ourselves, but to liberate all suppressed people anywhere in the world. Our success and achievements are not just for our benefit, but for the whole world. The Rotary, like Rotary's motto, is service above self. Rotary International is an organization which connects continents, cultures, and people. All of you, I think I was told there are 27 nationalities represented here. Wonderful. You are the world who is gathered here. I'm sure you will all take joy in joining me this evening as I conclude, reciting an ancient Indian prayer which has been handed down generation after generation. I shall first say it in Sanskrit and then explain the meaning in English. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashi Dukkha Bhaga Bhavate, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This means, may all become happy, may all be free from illness, may all see what is good and auspicious. May no one suffer. Let there be peace, peace, and peace.